Welcome to session 2 of Family Addiction Engagement Training. After session 1, I'm sure that you had questions, and I really hope that you emailed me or came to coaching groups to get your questions answered or to have more of a discussion about them. In session 2, we really take a closer look at what specifically trickled down from the culture into the family. What are these specific things? Because they are there, and there's this generational trickle down, and so it's like from one generation to the next. Our ancestors' culture and the challenges they had and the strengths that they had to get through those challenges, those trickle down. That's one thing. But then for each ancestor, each individual, there's a belief system cycle. And there's a worldview. Generally, a family has a worldview. That trickles down. And it's not always the same, but you starting to think about what was the worldview for my ancestors, the ancestors that I knew or stories that I heard about. That's so important, and to really look at the beliefs of your parents or your grandparents or your great-grandparents. And a lot of times those beliefs come out of struggles that they had in their generation, in their society, in their culture. We are going to be taking a look at what I call a belief system cycle. And so it's beliefs, and out of beliefs that we have comes our thinking, and then from our thinking we take actions, or we don't take actions, a lack of actions. But then we have feelings about taking actions or not taking actions. So then we have feelings, and a lot of times those feelings reinforce the old beliefs. Once you and your family members start to see that there's this cycle that we can get caught in when we're not conscious of it, and we're never taught about it, quite frankly. But once we see that we can get caught in this, then we can start to get out of it. That's one crucial tool that I'm going to be talking about. I'm going to be talking about every individual has a body, and some of the things that are specific to that body that helps drive this story, like the nervous system. If I'm always in fight or flight or something and I can't calm myself down, I'm always going to have some kind of story that is probably around anxiety or being concerned, or that there's a problem out there, or that I need to be hypervigilant all the time. Those are some of the topics that I am going to be talking about in session 2. And I really want you, or invite you, to take a look at this. And you may be thinking, hey, this doesn't apply to my situation right now, but let it sink in. And because we all have ancestors, our ancestors all have a body, we have a body, this stuff trickles down. And once we see this information, then we can start raising our awareness to create a new story. Instead of a story where we are a victim, or a story that depletes our energy, we can actually change that story with reframing it. And I have plenty of examples myself, so please come to the coaching groups. But we can actually reframe our story to see that we are the victors, the heroes in our own story, and it's up to us to make change. One, for our life, but then for our whole family system, quite frankly, and how our family does family together. There's a lot of resources here. There's resources that I included that aren't in the field work, and And one is like Rachel Yehuda. She talks about intergenerational transmission, which is kind of the psychology lingo for generational trickle down. There's quite a bit of backstory here, and you don't need to understand all of it in a black and white way, but you do need, I think, it can be very, very helpful to have a general understanding of this and see what really catches your attention, and then put your focus there. Put your focus there to start doing some of your own, whether it's research or whether it's personal inner work or whatever it can be. But addiction, I was going to say session 2 is actually there's quite a bit here, maybe too much, but take it at your own pace. Slower is faster, and go slow with this, and let other family members know what you're doing. And when you do that, they may be curious, and of course they can look at this. And if you have questions about how to do that, ask me in a coaching group or reach out to me with an email.